Good Monday morning. If you are growing up and I was your dad, let me tell you some of the things that I think would be the most important things for you to learn. The most important skills I think you could get, the lessons I would want you to pick up on. The first one is self-discipline. If you don't have the ability to manage yourself, you need to start there. What that means primarily is learning to postpone gratification, meaning you're willing to do the things that should be done before you do the things you want to do, like homework before video games. The other aspect of that is doing difficult things because you know you should and they're the right things to do. It takes self-discipline to do that. So self-discipline would be the first thing I would want you to learn. One of the second things is social skills. Most of the questions I've gotten recently have had to do with social skills. How do I meet friends? How do I meet girlfriends? What do I do if I've got social anxiety? Those are real challenges, and they're more difficult, I think, today than they have been in the past for a couple reasons. One is COVID. We learned to live in a bubble for a year or more. And the other one is the advent of electronics. You guys can sit there and watch these things on video all day long, and you don't interact with human beings except for when you have to. Well, that's not good. You need to learn to develop yourself socially. So how do you do that? Well, school, work, that's where I'd start. If you're a churchgoer, that's a good way to do it. Shopping, hobbies. You can go look at some of those other posts where we answered some of those questions. I say we because I got a lot of good input from you members of this Stepdad community, and I appreciate that. To succeed as an adult, you're going to need to be able to function socially. Now, if you've got social anxiety, I don't want you to sweat it. I don't want you to get weirded out. I don't want you to get afraid, feel like you're never going to make it, because you can. You just have to get outside your comfort zone, hence the self-discipline. Let me tell you a quick story. My mom remarried when I was a young man. I was in my early 20s. I had the opportunity to be the MC at the reception, and I said something that the audience started laughing at, and I realized it wasn't intended to be a joke. I think there were friends and neighbors that were helping serve at the reception, but I thanked the friends and neighbors. I think I said servants as opposed to those helping to serve. And that elicited a little bit of a chuckle from the audience because that's not normally how you'd refer to them. So I'm at the mic and I realized that, and I could have choked, and I kind of did. I mean, inside I'm thinking, oh, wow, I just said something I shouldn't have said. But I kept going and I recovered. I had some jokes in between the different, I think there were musical numbers that were presented and some people spoke and I was in between them. And I had some jokes and stuff and I recovered to where I regained my composure enough, but I got to where I was confident again. My whole point in telling that story is when you try to reach out socially, you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna think, oh crap, why did I do that? I wish I hadn't have even tried. That's the wrong answer. You're gonna screw up. Just realize it now. But you're going to recover as long as you keep trying, and you got to keep trying, and you get to where you actually enjoy it. So learning social skills would be the second thing I'd have you learn. The third thing is learning to love. Learning to love is going to be one of the challenges, particularly if you're growing up without a dad, and the biggest challenge you're going to have is learning to love yourself. Start with your pets. If you've got pets, and especially cats and dogs, because they're easier to love. They cuddle, they like humans. It's a little hard to cuddle with a bird or a snake or even a gerbil or a hamster, but learn to love with your pets first, your friends and or your family, both of them. I put them in order of friends and family because when I was an older young man, I seemed to get along better with my friends than with my family. But ultimately, the biggest person you need to learn to love is yourself. And that can be a challenge, but learn to love yourself. And then the fourth thing I would have you learn, if I'm your dad, it would be to figure out what your purpose is and then live your purpose. I share that message with you today because all of those things are things I wrote about in the book, The Map to Manhood. And I've been working on this for years, and I'm excited because it's actually coming out now. Now, I'm excited because it's the culmination of a lot of work that I've had, but I hope it will serve you. If you are growing up without your dad, and it's written for young men, you young ladies know that you can get a lot of value out of it too, but it is addressed to young men because that's how I grew up. So that's the perspective I have. But I hope you'll get that book, read it. There's a lot of practical exercises, stories of my own experiences that will help you get through some of the challenges that you're having right now. Always remember, you can still succeed even if your dad's not in your daily life. And you really do have a dad that loves you. And I'll see you on the next video.